Welcome to the first Let's Talk format called the Double-Edged Sword, where I take my long sword or broadsword or claymore or what have you, and I bisect and dissect a particular subject within the world of gaming, and I talk about the good and bad halves, as it were. Ba-doom-tsh. And, well, for the first episode, I had a very specific topic in mind, and you'll notice I am playing Oregon Trail. Not to be confused with Oregon Trail, also a good game. But that's the connecting theme right there. Oregon Trail and Oregon Trail are both good games. I particularly like Oregon Trail, which is a zombie-themed version of Oregon Trail. A very damn good game, if you ask me. I highly recommend this. Everybody try out this game, even if you're not a fan of zombies, which is becoming something of a tired trope nowadays. But, yeah, like I said, that's the connecting theme. We're going to talk about the subject of new games versus old games. This is a recently released game, but like I said, it's kind of like a modern parody, a really good one of Oregon Trail. You know, it takes itself seriously, but at the same time not too seriously. There's a lot of jokes in it, a lot of references to other games and all that, which I really like. I always dig that kind of stuff. And I bought this game dirt cheap, and that was with Plus membership. You can get this game now, at the date of this video, for $10, and it's a really good game. I recommend it. Anyway, getting off track here. Back on track. The point of today's episode is you look at this and you look at Oregon Trail, and you don't really see the differences though. This could have been made back in the day. Now, obviously, there's some things in this game that make it stand out technologically wise, like how this game might run better, or how it just plays better, everything's smoother, but it still has that difficulty, which I really like, that old school difficulty. And what I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to point out is, this thing did the old-timey thing on purpose, that retro 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, what have you. And there's a lot of those games coming out all of a sudden, like, another example is Shovel Knight, which I did a Let's Play on. Really, really good game. I really like that game, too. And, I almost want to say, I think Mighty No. 9, I've yet to actually do my actual research, but it's also trying to emulate the old school, like, Mega Man feel, a game that is yet to come out. And I really, just love those kind of games, and it got me thinking the other day, when I first played this the other day. I've been playing a lot of Oregon Trail, I really like it. Could be a top 10 game, which is another story for another time. I'll compiling a list of 400 plus games as I speak that I've played before, and I'm just remembering games as I add to it, but enough of that. I'm seriously digressing here. The point is, how I enjoy this game more than a lot of new AAA games coming out. And, now, like I said, there's a double-edged sword to that. This is the whole point of the format, is I will talk about the good and bad, and, you know, the theories about that, the hypotheses, as it were. And when it comes to new versus old, I've been finding myself playing more old games that I've never played. Also, I should point out, more old games that I've never played, and just enjoying them a hell of a lot more than anything the industry nowadays has brought out. And we could say it's because maybe we've peaked out on graphics. Maybe it could be because we peaked out on technology. Whether either of these things are true, it could be because we peaked out on this, we peaked out on that. We'll never come up with a better control scheme for this type game, what have you. For me, when I stopped caring about graphics was Mass Effect 2, actually. And it's not that I don't appreciate graphics, like, for example, let me get kind of off topic, for example. Star Wars Battlefront, the new one coming out, I'll surely have my hands on it by the time this video comes out. I did this video on my birthday, and that was the special day I talked about in my 1-year anniversary, and I thought it'd be fitting for me to bring out this first episode, because also the game comes out tonight, and I'll be playing it for sure. I appreciate when they do the top-notch graphics, because you're representing an already existing franchise, and you want to get that notch in the Stormtrooper's helmet, or you want to get the glow of Darth Vader's lightsaber just right. See, that kind I can understand. When it comes to top-notch graphics, that I can understand. And I played the beta, it plays really well. And see, now that's the thing. There can be new games that obviously you could still enjoy and that you should go out for, but one thing I guess I kind of want to say is, and I kind of wanted to wait till the end of the video to wrap this up, but I might as well say it now. When it comes to that game that you're looking for, that game that you've been waiting for, maybe let's say that AAA game that you think is going to be really good. There's been a lot of disappointment lately. Destiny for a lot of people, The Order 1886 for a lot of people, the Watch Dogs for a lot of people. There's just been a lot of this hyped up, these hyped up new games that really just disappoint, crushingly so. And it's just getting really kind of sad, actually. But that's why, and it's kind of spurned me, as it hopefully I got that statement correct, to go back and play all these older games. And I'm realizing a game that came out 10 years ago, whether I've played them before or whether it's a game I've never played before, I'm having a lot more enjoyment with. And they, obviously they don't have as much content as some of these newer games. And that's kind of another thing when it comes to these new games. There's certainly been a lot of this. Let's see if we can do everything in one game. Now, for a lot of times, this can work, and for a lot of times, it can't work. For example, let me go and point out the Assassin's Creed series. When it started losing me was Unity. I only even really played 4 because I want to do the whole pirate thing and nothing else. Because I wasn't even in it for the stabbing in Assassin's Creed 3, the thing that the game should be in for. By Assassin's Creed 3, a game I still really enjoyed, but not because of what I bought it for. I bought it for the stabbing. I stayed for all the mini games, and that kind of tells you it right there. Where they're leaving some of these games, they don't do the thing that you buy them for, right? They do all the side stuff, and it's like you put so much love into the side stuff that you forget about the bugs and the glitches, or even how fun the main damn game is. They seem to be forgetting about the whole assassinating part of the Assassin's Creed series. And I heard they kind of made a shift back towards it in Unity, but the game was so god-awfully buggy at launch. I didn't even want to buy it. It was looking boring. After Assassin's Creed 3, I didn't even want to buy 4 until I found out it was about pirates and you could do the whole sailing thing and pretty much bored. And I really liked that game, but only for that thing. Now, see, that's like I said, double-edged sword. That kind of stuff can really work for a stale genre if you really put that one cool bit of innovation in. But otherwise, I'm finding more fun to be had in older titles, and it's up to games like these. Now, not strictly up to games like these games that purposely do the retro thing. In a way, here comes another double-edged sword. In a way, doing the retro thing on purpose is almost kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card in case it's like in case your game does suck. Now, games like Oregon Trail and Shovel Knight, those do it right. They do it perfectly. They do it in top notch. They not only do they get the nostalgia down, but they get the gameplay down too. They get that retro gameplay and add some of this modern element to it, but in the right way that makes it feel like it's kind of hard to explain, but or it could be easy to explain and I'm just not doing it right. But either way, when it comes to that kind of stuff, when it comes to doing it right, it's like the games nowadays seem to be forgetting something. And when it comes to these older games, you can really find a lot of enjoyment in I don't want to start naming games and for a very specific reason too. There's games I kind of want to purposely keep in the dark about what I'm talking about until I can get to other subjects like graphics when I talk about that in very particular fashion. I'm just talking about graphics in relation to the topic today of new versus old. Now, obviously, when it comes to the old, there were a lot of crap old games in the past too, and I'm not just gonna say, oh, just look at E.T., but no, there was quite a lot. There were so many bad old games out there, and it really is just kind of like, when it comes to oversaturation, new versus old, nothing has really changed. I feel like the market will always be incredibly oversaturated with any type subject, and it goes back to that oh yeah, let's be like Halo. Oh yeah, let's be like Oblivion. Oh yeah, let's be like let's be like COD. Although COD was kind of being like Halo when you think about it. When I think about it anyway. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but 2 weapons, recharging health. But yeah, my ultimate point is, I'm gonna try and wrap this up here. My ultimate point is, there is a game out there that you are probably looking for. Instead of waiting for the AAA titles, maybe think about going let's say looking on Amazon.com and trying to find that game you've been thinking about for a while. Like, for example, a game I hunted down recently, because it's one that's always been on my mind. I would not call myself a JRPG fan by any means, unless you count my love for Final Fantasy. But I kind of like Final Fantasy alone. A game I hunted down recently was Valkyria Chronicles, if only because my curiosity finally got the better of me. But more importantly, and more up front and center, it's also because, like I said, these AAA games have just been absolutely disappointing me, with a couple of exceptions I'll talk about someday. or in an appropriate episode. Not irrelevant to talk about them right now, but Valkyria Chronicles, it's this anime-themed tactical turn-based shooter. Well, hold on. Turn-based shooter, I guess is the best way to put it. You get control of a tank, you get control of a squad of these anime stereotypes for the most part, and I love it. It's great. It has a interface nightmare of a HUD and all that. Or hold on. Like trying to organize what you do is a nightmare. Even in the main menu or the squad menu or the headquarters menu, navigating through the menus is god awful. But the gameplay itself is so intriguing. It's so novel. I like it so much. And even though by every fiber of my being probably shouldn't be in love with this game, I am. And I've even come to love the characters. Stupidly enough, it's enchanting. I will admit that. When it comes to like discovering that maybe I'm into this thing that I thought I would hate with every fiber of my being so much, I can appreciate an older game. And Valkyria Chronicles, I think it came out in 2008, 2009 for the PlayStation 3 or something like that. Yeah, I got, because, for the PlayStation 3 for sure, I know about. I don't exactly remember the year it came out, but yeah, it's a really good PlayStation 3 game. I can't recommend it to everybody, but I personally like it. There's a lot of games, and here comes the whole... I can't quite say this is a professional opinion because some of this could be favoritism and my own bias and all that, and I'll admit that. But I do like my own particular tastes. I even like some of the crappy installments of what could be really good series like Batman Arkham Origins or even Assassin's Creed 3. I actually really still like that game despite all its flaws. And, I have my moments with those games. Alpha Protocol, I keep touting as a game, incredibly underrated game. I can see why no one else likes it though. There's all these games that I like that I cannot, in good conscience, recommend to anybody else, and that's where I try to keep the professional aspect of this in, where it's like, can I recommend this game that I like to anyone else or not? More often than not, no. I like a lot of weird stuff, and by weird I mean like where I can see where no one else likes it, but I do. Like Valkyria Chronicles, I can't recommend that game to strategy enthusiasts. Or, because it's mostly a strategy game, or anime enthusiasts, because the strategy element might turn them off. So yeah, it's all about uniqueness, but it was a relatively older game. It's not that old, obviously, 2008, 2009, whatever. But it's still like older. It's old enough to where I could say it's an older game that you should that I gave myself a shot at, and I really do not regret it. I'm enjoying the crap out of that game in my spare time, and that's what it comes down to is, do you enjoy a game? All these newer games, a lot of them, no. And there's a lot of older games, no, that I can't enjoy. You just gotta pick and choose. But my ultimate point is, when it comes to that game you've been looking for, it might already exist. You might waiting around for it to become announced or release on a certain date is probably holding you back when it comes to you and being able to enjoy your own games. Go, do your research. Look up a category of games that you might like, or a category of games you've been thinking of, and you might find that one special game from the past, from, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, however long the professional gaming industry, air quote, has technically existed. And, my favorite game of all time, I can safely say, I'll compile my top 10 later, but my favorite game of all time is Star Wars Knights of the Republic, or KOTOR, if you will, the first one. I love that game so much. I annually play it once a year, or at least I did until about 2 years ago when my disc finally broke. And it's just it was a shame. It's a tragedy. It was the Xbox One version, no less. I keep hearing it's another thing too. When it comes to console differences, I had no idea that the Xbox version of Doom 3 was missing what had a bunch of cut content that the PC version had. So it's also, I understand most of this is restricted to what kind of console you had back in the day. A lot of people actually had Commodore 64, games you'll never see on the Nintendo or PC or Mac or whatever you call it. And so it also you're also restricted to what kind of console you have. Like if you have a GameCube, you'll be surprised at how many hidden gems were on that, or obscure gems were on that. The PlayStation 2 even more so, if you ask me. Xbox, I really like the Xbox original. It's still my favorite console from that generation, believe it or not. there were so many better games for the PS2 in my opinion, but there were so many more of my personal favorites from the Xbox that I just like. And it always comes down to it as far as new and old comes down to. It comes down to your favorites now, doesn't it? So I think I'm rambling at this point. I think I've made my point actually one or too many times. So thank you guys all so much for watching. This has been Cam with his first episode of the double-edged sword, or whatever I end up calling it. I'm not exactly sure that's what I'm going to title it. It's more of a let's talk. And I will see you guys all in the next episode. Leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to get knighted today. And love yourself, because Cam loves you too. Huzzah!